My name's Shane Boyd. I am the Assistant Scoutmaster for Troop 574, and I just wanted to let you know that I had the opportunity to interview some of the adult leaders within the troop. These adult leaders inspire me, they motivate me every day, and I really look up to them. And I hope that their stories inspire you as well and get you motivated to possibly help out more with the troop or to get your scouts more involved with the troop. You know, Troop 574 has a lot to offer in ways of adventure and diversity and just, you know, helping our scouts become better men. And, you know, with their stories, I hope they're inspiring, they inspire me, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
My name is Pablo Alvarez-Tostado, and I'm Assistant Scout Master, and responsible for training on the committee.
Great. All right. So why did you choose Troop 574?
So I didn't choose the troop. The troop was Andres' decision, my son. So they were Webelos, and they visited different troops. And they were doing a presentation on snow caves, and they were talking about doing the snow caves and having machetes, so that was really appealing, and they all came here. For me, scouting is a lifelong journey, so I've been a scout since I was 7, and it's where all my best friends are from, and it's a family affair also. My dad was in scouting, so I don't think that there's something specific, like I can say impact on my life. However, it does impact, right? So there's not one specific moment, but you're looking at all these kids grow and do activities, battle through things, turn on responsibilities, and you also learn how kids act and interact, not just your kids. So I think it's helpful in how you communicate and how you understand teenagers. Mm-hmm. So we just did this summer a whitewater rafting trip, and we had a raft that was all scouts, so they had to navigate and paddle together, and they were responsible for the navigation, and we had to set up camp and get up things out every day. So there was great things. Not only there was a fantastic adventure, but seeing everybody go through this, it was like probably a favorite moment. In Scouts, kids are going to learn lots of things, and one of the things that they're going to be learning is about service, and they're going to be participating in projects and leading sometimes these projects. So I would say that we should lead by example and be the volunteer that we want our kids to grow. So we need adults to manage and assist the boys, even though they're going to be managing their activities. They need assist to get things done. So yeah, model for your kid.
My name is Marc Bachmeier. I am the adult quartermaster for 574.
So why did you pick Troop 574?
Well, my kids did. So I'm along for the ride. I've got 2 boys in Troop 574. One is a Life and one is a Star Scout at the moment. So both came over as after Arrow of Light. I was a Cub Scout. I went all the way through Webelos, got my Arrow of Light, and then didn't pursue it after Arrow of Light. I had other interests and other time commitments in the summers and just didn't have time to do it. So it's been really enlightening, I guess is the best way to put it, watching it from this side and watching how my kids are, I guess, taking how seriously they're taking this and how interested they are and how eager they are to move forward in the scouting line. We did Philmont. I did Philmont with my oldest son in 22. Yes, summer of 22. And as part of that, that whole trek, we did a 12-day trek, and we got to summit Mount Baldy. And I honestly, to be honest, with everything I had going on the year before, I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to make it to Philmont or do much of anything prior to that. So it was really important for me, as part of my recovery process, to go to make sure that I could do Philmont, do it with my son, and do it with the troupe, and share in that. Because, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to do it. It's actually just been a series of events that have been fun. The Christmas tree pickup's always a good time. Kickoff, when I've been able to attend, has been fun. There's just been a number of things over and over, and every event that I've been on has always generally been a pretty good time.
It's memorable.
For me, it was watching my youngest son kind of transform from this kid who wasn't sure if he wanted to do scouting and really pursue the scouting path, wasn't sure if he wanted to be a leader, wasn't sure about a number of things, and all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, I'm like, who is this kid? He's running around organizing people, getting people in line, keeping track of things, making sure people's where they're supposed to be, talking about moving forward all the way to Eagle, getting all of his merit badges done. I'm just like, who is this person and where did he come from? Take the leap. Do it. You may think it's not for you. You may think it's not right. You may be not comfortable about it. If you don't have you don't have an understanding of what it means, just do it. Try it. See what happens. You might be surprised how much you enjoy it and how it's actually, and quite frankly, it's pretty easy. It's an easy use of your time, but you're then present, and you're acting as a mentor to some of these boys and some of these kids that are out there as well, and it can be fairly rewarding. Almost 5 or 6 years now that we've been over here, and this has been a really enjoyable experience.
Cameron Showalter, Scoutmaster. So I actually let my son pick the troop way back, and we came to visit on a cook-off night. And before we even made it to the car that night, he's like, "Dad, we gotta come here." And so it's been good since. So I've always told my son that we'd go as long as he's having a good time. And one of my friends actually told me he's having a good time because he's there with you. And as my son has become a teenager, I'm not sure that he's really that's really true, but we keep coming, and we both made some really good friends over the years, and so it's been really good. So as the Scoutmaster, I get to talk to all the scouts as they move from one rank to the other or to the next, and it's always really interesting to hear them talk about what they've done and those fond memories that they've made in scouting, and have that realization that they've done this on their own. Obviously there's people helping them along the way, but they've made this accomplishment, and so that's one of those things that I just carry with me. So watching the scouts work together at camp, and whenever it's rainy, whenever the weather's not great, it's always things that I like to see, because they come together and they get through that challenge. We've been blessed with some really amazing camps around here. Camp Merriweather is my favorite camp so far. We had 3 miles of Pacific Ocean beach to ourselves. My regret there was not doing the polar bear plunge and spending the night on the beach, but the location was amazing. The activities were amazing, even though it was during COVID, and so I would love to go back.
What would you say to anyone who was hesitant about volunteering?
I would say put the hesitation aside and come camping with us. Stay for a troop meeting or sit in on one of the monthly committee meetings. Or offer up a skill or a hobby you like, or simply lend a hand driving extra scouts to and from an event. And since you're there, stay for the event and participate. So a strong troop is supported by all of its families. So that's one thing that we need is parent involvement to help drive this troop forward and for those next generations.
Growing up involved in the scouting program, I was fortunate to be part of an active organization with a number of influential scout leaders who gave of their time and talent. When I transitioned from Cub Scouts into Boy Scouts, I found a regular cadence of outings through my troop that expanded the range of opportunities and allowed me to experience many new adventures. My first time whitewater rafting was at age 11 during my initial summer with the troop in western Pennsylvania on the Youghiogheny River, better known as the Yacht. My first time on a multi-day river trip was canoeing with my troop on the west branch of the Susquehanna River. It was on that trip where I first sat in and paddled a kayak, which belonged to an older scout, in the calm water along the shore of our camp. My first time downhill and cross-country skiing was with my local troop. My first time climbing a tower and rappelling down it by rope was at scout camp. I cooked a hamburger on a hot campfire rock for the first time, and only time, on a backpacking trip with my troop. The scouting program allowed me to do many things that I just wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, and those opportunities would not have been possible without the dedication of the scout leaders in our troop. I've been fortunate to serve now as a leader in Troop 574, a unit with a focus on Christian and scouting values, leadership, service, camaraderie, fun, and adventure. It's a chance to give back to the scouting program that provided so much for me. When I attended Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico as a young scout, I never dreamed that I would return one day to the Philmont experience with a troop and 2 boys of my own. It is something that I will truly cherish for a lifetime. That first whitewater rafting trip at age 11 and learning to whitewater kayak as a teen with one of the scout families led to whitewater kayaking becoming a lifelong sport for me. Having the opportunity to help our troop this past summer with a 75-mile rafting trip on the Lower Salmon and Snake Rivers in Idaho was my scouting experience coming full circle. I would say to others considering volunteering that right now is my opportunity and yours to support our troop and the scouting program. In the context of our lives, we have a relatively short window of opportunity to volunteer while our kids are young. Let's help provide for a quality program and give the scouts their opportunity to experience many firsts of their own. My hope and prayer is that we as scout leaders are able to provide an authentic scouting experience for today's youth that will light a flame that will burn bright in the lives of those scouts we've had an opportunity to influence, and that perhaps one day they will look back on their scouting experience with admiration and choose to continue the cycle of service, paying it forward to the next generation.
Dave Keene, and I am the former Scoutmaster of Troop 574, as well as I also was the advancement chair for 5 years prior to being the Scoutmaster. And so originally, Troop, it was PAC 574, back when there was a PAC 574, was out of Cedar Park Christian School. And so our children all went to Cedar Park, and it just seemed like a natural fit to have our boys join PAC 574. And then when they transitioned into Troop 574. And then when we were no longer meeting at Cedar Park Christian School, we continued obviously with the troop, because we found that we really enjoyed what the troop stood for and the activities that they did, and the people were just fantastic.
Great, thank you. So what has scouting meant for you?
That's a great question too, because people know that they see me as a Scoutmaster, and so they think, oh, you must have all the scouting experience. You're probably an Eagle Scout, and I'm not. I did 2 years of Cub Scouts, and then there just wasn't an opportunity to do Scouts after that back in the town I grew up in. So it was really, honestly, my boys that wanted to do Scouts. My oldest son Orion wanted to do Cub Scouts, and so a lot of his friends did, and that's what got us into the pack and then the troop. But from there, it just blossomed. It became so much more evident why Boy Scouts was important and what it did for them, and just and we're very blessed living in the Pacific Northwest here, and so there's so many activities to take advantage of, outdoor things that there is for scouting, and we live in just such a great place for it. But also, it was evident that scouting was going to teach them not only outdoor skills, but so much more, just life skills and interaction. And I always kind of look back. One of the things that when I was the advancement chair, which was a position I loved. I loved the advancement chair position because I could be a part of just interviewing all the scouts and asking them, how's it going and what do they enjoy, and we'd test them on certain things as well. But it was really fun. But the one thing we would always ask them, what's your favorite thing about scouting? And when I first started asking that question, I expected, oh, I love going to camp. I love doing a 50-miler. I love shooting shotguns. I love doing these things. Never the answer I got. Not once. It was always, I love being with my friends. And I just thought that, and the first time I got that answer, I thought, maybe that's just an anomaly. Maybe that's just, maybe this kid's not very creative and he just, likes being here. And so I asked the next one, and the next one, and the next one. 99% of the time, that is the answer I got. I just love coming together and being with my friends. And it was so great because most of these boys that we have in our troop, they don't hang out outside of Scouts. They just, they don't go to the same schools. They don't live in the same neighborhoods necessarily. But when they all come together, they're friends. And that was really cool to see. So yeah, I've always appreciated that. So there's numerous things that have made a profound change in my life. And I'm going to start with something that is probably going to be included in a question down the road here. But this kind of touches on that too. So one of the things that when we got into the troop, I kind of just usually dropped off my son. I kind of drop him off. I'd hang out a little bit in the back and talk and get to know the guys, but I didn't really get invested into the troop right away. It took me a little while, and when there were outdoor activities, I'd go drop my boy off, and it was raining and pouring, and I'd go sleep in my warm bed thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not out there. Now I love to be out there in the rain, but I did the advancement chair, and I was really enjoying it. And the prior Scoutmaster, Rob Lee, asked me to be the Scoutmaster, and I told him no. I said, I don't. I'm on the committee side. I'm not the scout. I'm not even on the scouting side. What do you see? So he asked me a couple times, but not a lot. Just no pressure, but just said, hey, I really think you should consider being Scoutmaster. And I thought about it, and again, over the course of 2 years, I told him no a couple times, and then one point, God put it on my heart to say yes. Well, I don't even know where it came from, but I kid you not, my heart changed, and I felt like I was being led to be the new Scoutmaster. That was a profound change in my life. That changed everything for me and how I got involved in scouting. Not only I was able to give back to the troop, but what I received in return from just watching these young men and what they've learned and grow. And that, just like I said, I felt called to do it. And it was one of the few times in my life that I've really felt called to do something. And my wife had told me that if you do one more activity, because I had been on leadership board at church, I'd been doing a lot of other things, and I owned my own business, and my wife said, if you do one more thing, you'll pretty much be sleeping outside. Now, she doesn't use that anymore because now she knows how much I love sleeping outside. But so I went to her and I said, "Hon, I feel called to be the Scoutmaster now." And I told her that. She said, "Well, good. I think you'd make a great Scoutmaster." So it was meant to be, and that was a profound, pivotal change in my life, in my scouting career, and it was just such a blessing to me to be able then to forge and take that on, and like I said, what I've received in return from that, it's been really awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
And then, so a favorite memory with the troop?
Yeah, so there's been a couple things. There's been, I would lie if I didn't tell you, standing on the top of Mount Rainier with 5 of our scouts, on one of those being my son. That was just, it was so impactful, and that was something that we all trained very, very hard for. And the scouts were the one who brought it up. It was the scouts that said, "Hey, we want to climb Mount Rainier." And I said, "Well, do you want me to help you? Do you want me to be a part of that? You guys just want to go do it on your own? I'm good with however." And they ultimately came back and said, we'd actually like you to help us out and to kind of help organize it. And then we did, and we all trained hard, and we worked hard, and we summited Mount Hood first, and just a phenomenal experience, and then training for Mount Rainier, and then making that summit and being with those guys and having worked so hard. So the 9 of us up there, and like I said, 5 of the scouts. One of the highlights of that, though, even was Gavin. Gavin was the youngest, my son Gavin. He was the youngest. He was 15 years old. He was struggling to get up to the top. That's not an easy summit, and he made it up, and it took him a while to recover as we're up at the top, kind of in the cone, and just out of the wind. And so some of the other scouts took off, because once you summit, go over the crest, well, now to actually get to the highest peak on the mountain, you actually have to go all the way across to the other side, and then get to the high point. And so once we were on our way over, and it was taking Gavin a little bit longer, like I said, to recover. And so we saw the book that you get to sign when you're at the top, and it's in a metal case, and there's just a notebook in there that I know they replace often, and you can write something in there. And so I wrote something in there, and I wrote something in there, and then I said, "Gavin, do you want to just sign the book?" And he said, "Well, Dad, I want to write something." And I said, "Okay." So he had the book, and it's got the book for a couple minutes, and I'm kind of like, "Are you okay? Are you trying to think about what you're doing?" And he wrote in there, "There's nothing that I'd rather do than be here with my dad right now." And I just tell you, that was, tears started coming down my face. They froze right away, but they started coming down, and I actually took a picture of the page. It was so impactful and so meaningful. And matter of fact, another couple that had summited Mount Rainier and were up there and waiting to the book, and they read what he wrote, and they started crying too. It was pretty cool. So yeah, it was a neat moment, and then to all be at the summit and take that picture. So that was definitely absolutely one of the highlights of doing that. But there's been numerous other highlights within scouting too. So. Yeah, it's easy to step back and stay back, and you don't know what you're missing. So one of the other highlights for me in scouting has been the friends that I've made. Some of my best friends now are men that I have met from scouting, other fathers and mothers as well, that I've done some amazing hikes with and things. I can't, you can't tell someone about what it means unless you get involved. But once you do get involved, all of a sudden you see that bonding and that understanding, and how you're shaping these young men's lives, and that impact that you have by just being there, and not only for your own son, but for other people's sons. And not everybody comes from the same type of background and family situation, and so sometimes you can make a much bigger impact on these young men than you think. and also, like I said, it's also where the getting in and getting involved, and as men, it's in our DNA. The more we suffer together, the more trials we go through, the more we bond. And so having done some of these difficult hikes together, having been a part of camp and watched things and just watch chaos go on and watch them try to figure things out. But all that, it really, really makes us tighter and people that I'll just never forget. So, yeah. No, I always have a closing remark, don't I? I always have a remark for something, and I would just have to say that being part of scouting is probably one of the best things that I've ever done, and not only just from what I've learned, but from the relationships that I've built, and from what I've been given in return, just the graciousness of being with these other like-minded folks that we've been able to see over 25 of these scouts. I think actually it's probably been closer to 30, 35 now, become Eagle Scouts and make these great accomplishments. And so to be a part of that and to see that, and just to watch them grow up and be a part of their lives is something that you can just never replace.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the stories of our adult leaders. I hope it inspires you. I hope it inspires the Scouts to become more active. The troop is only as good as our volunteers and our Scouts. Really, it really comes down to involvement, and the adventures that we can have together are because of you. Thank you.